The presentation title for today is The Little Things That Make All the Difference. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself, my story, what I've been doing, and what I have learned in the journey. So first of all, who am I? I'm Raghav Himatsingka. I'm the founder of a company called Raising Superstars. My educational background is I'm an engineer by education. I graduated from Georgia Tech and then went to Stanford way back in 2008. I'm a third-time lucky entrepreneur. So before I started Raising Superstars, I did a bunch of different things, of which two main things I did was I started a chain of restaurants, which failed. Absolutely, it failed as badly as you can imagine. I lost crores of rupees of my own money in that. Then I started a trucking company where we would literally transport cargo from factories to customers. So long distance trucking from one city to another, from factories to the distributors. So I started that. That company was called Tracola. That also failed and shut down. So I've been working for the last 15 years, as you guys can see. So it's not a short journey. There have been lots of ups and downs. But I think I found my sweet spot with the company, which is Raising Superstars, which I've been doing for the last 4 years. I started it in the middle of the pandemic in 2020. Now, what is Raising Superstars? Raising Superstars is a very young startup, 4 years old. And we are on a mission to help to inspire every parent in the world to provide early childhood learning to their kids, to help them become the best version of themselves. Okay, this is technical jargon, nobody understood anything. So I'm going to explain what we do. But key statistics about us, we have about 1.5 million app downloads, 4.5 star ratings. We have about 3 lakh paid customers. We have customers across 150 countries. We are the #1 parenting app on Play Store, and we are twice featured on App Store as well. So what is Raising Superstars? Quite simply put, the science says that 90% of a child's brain, 90% of our brain, of the human brain, is developed before the age of 6 years, right? 90% of our brains develop before age 6. 75% develops before the age of 2 years. So what we do is we tell parents how to raise their babies and toddlers for happiness and success in 5 minutes a day. That's our model. On a mobile app, we give them activities that they should be doing with their babies and toddlers to help them reach their full potential, because beyond 6 years of age, it's already too late. 90% of the brain is already wired up. That is our concept. We are the category creator in this space. We are also the category leader worldwide in this space. We are probably one of the only few ones who are doing this. We started it. There are a few people who have tried to copy us, but that's the business that I run. So key accolades and recognition for our company. We were ranked #4 in the world by Time Magazine this year as a rising education company in the world. We were featured on Shark Tank India, where we backed one of the biggest deals on this show. We were also covered by Hollywood actress Meg Ryan for an exclusive documentary, which was aired across the United States. And as I said, we believe that we are a category creator as well as the category leader in our space, with customers across the world in 150 countries. Now, what is today's goal? In the next 5 slides, I'm going to try and show you that the margin between greatness and failure is razor thin, right? The margin between greatness and failure is razor thin, and it's the little things that you do that will help you succeed in life. So how you can cross over to the side of greatness? By following these very simple rules. I'm going to give you only 5 rules. And the reason I can say that with confidence is because I have failed so many times, right? I've been working for 15 years, graduated from Stanford. All my friends, literally the founder of Instagram was sitting with me at the graduation ceremony, right? He was in my batch. So that's the kind of people that I graduated with. And for 12 years, for 11, 12 years, I had nothing to show for my career for the first 11, 12 years. And I'm the same person. But the last 4 years, Raising Superstar, we think we've achieved quite a bit. And what are those Those key differences, key things that I did differently is what I'm going to talk about. Jimmy Johnson, who's a football coach in the US, he says that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. And let's find out what that little extra is. So rule number 1, passion solves for everything. Now, how many of you have heard कि यार passion होना चाहिए? सबने सुना है यार, सबने सुना है. And it's like the biggest cliche. And I'm telling you, last 4 years, every cliche that I've heard in my life has come true. हम लोग सुनते हैं यार passion, अरे यार performance. That's everybody's reaction, right? That used to be my reaction. कि यार ये सब सुना हुआ है. But what is the real truth, right? Like why does passion solve for everything? When I say passion solves for everything, it means that you have any problem, you have anything that is not going well, passion can solve for it, right? Let me explain to you. Now, when I was, before starting Raising Superstars, I was running a company called Truckola, right? Trucking industry. What was happening in that? I was sending cargo from the factory, picking up the cargo in the truck, sending it from say Bombay to Delhi, right? I go to the customer, I say, I will give you a truck, I will send your cargo from Bombay to Delhi. Please give me business. The guy will be like, what's your rate? I'll say 100 rupees. The other guy is giving it 99. Other guy is giving it 98. The only discussion was कि price क्या है आपका? ठीक है 99 में देता हूँ मैं भी दे दिया. Then the truck will leave. The driver, the truck is being driven by the driver. He will stop somewhere in the middle of Indore and he will say, "Sir, मैं आगे नहीं जाऊँगा, पैसे दो तब मैं जाऊँगा. डीजल के लिए पैसे नहीं है." Even though he has all the money, right? Then किसी तरह the cargo will be delivered in Delhi. Then what will happen is we will take the bill, we will go to the client. पैसे दे दो हमारा 50,000 rupees from Bombay to Delhi. Give me the money. They will not give you the money. They say, देते, money will come after 45, 60 days, sometimes it will not even come. And I kid you not, I lost hundreds of crores in accounts receivables, which never came back to me. That's my story, right? Now, so you can imagine I was working under that kind of an environment. So how much passion I had for that business? Not much, I didn't have any passion. But I had an ambition कि मुझे कुछ बड़ा करना, but I was not enjoying that business. All day you're on call with drivers, all day you're begging for business. There's no value proposition. All that you're negotiating for is money, and then after you've delivered good service, you are begging for your own money, right? For the invoice to be paid. Now, when I created Raising Superstars, so what happened was 2020, my trucking company shut down because of the lockdown. My revenues went to zero. There was no business. Company shut down. I had to move back from Bombay to Calcutta because that's where I'm from. And I gave up my house, gave up my office in Bombay. I'd been living in Bombay for 10 years at the time. Went back to Calcutta. And my family started saying, "Kya ab to company band ho gaya, ab kya karoge? Ab aa jao yahi aa jao Calcutta aa jao wapas." So I said, "Acha lockdown 3 hafte ka hai, 3 hafte mein kuch karte hain." So that was what I said. I'll create something in 3 weeks. But obviously I couldn't create it in 3 weeks. Lockdown kept extending, and my timeline also got extended, and I created Raising Superstars. Now that's where my passion came in, right? Where I was like, wow, this is amazing, because I was working throughout the day, 16, 18 hours a day. I didn't even realize what chair I was sitting on. It was a plastic chair and I broke my back. And I had to nurse my back for 1 year with physiotherapy just to get out of it. But the reason I was able to do it, 8 o'clock in the morning till midnight, फिर 12 बजे रात में सो, सुबह में 8 बजे वापस उठो, emails check करो क्या हो रहा है, customers को handle करो. That is what is passion. Passion is something that gives you the reason to wake up in the morning and do it again, right? Even when the going is tough, even when I'm breaking my back and I'm not realizing it. So it doesn't mean that you are necessarily passionate about the industry that you're working or passionate about the work that you're doing, but there has to be some reason which will help you wake up in the morning and do it, right? So even if you're selling some boring shit, it doesn't matter. You have to have that passion, that reason for you to do it. Now you have passion, but how many of you listen to music? How many of you play some instrument, musical instrument? How many of you sing? तो आप लोग सबको क्या म्यूजिशियन बन जाना चाहिए? People who are singing, people who are playing an instrument, मेरा passion music में. Should I become a musician? Now I'll tell you the answer at the end of the slide. But the answer is of course no. But why no? So my second rule is choose to solve big problems. Very, very important. Choose to solve big problems. Now, the world is not equal, right? The world is not equal. Somebody is rich, somebody is poor, somebody is talented, somebody is not talented, somebody has a fancy NMIMS degree, somebody does not, right? World is not equal. But what is equal in the world is that everybody in the world has the same amount of time, right? 24 hours in a day. Now, the amount of effort that you put in, the result that you will get is going to be proportionate to the kind of problem that you're solving. If the problem is large, then you can get a larger result as well, right? Now let me explain this concept to you. When I was running the trucking company, why did I not get results? Because there's no problem, यार. फैक्ट्री के पास ट्रक्स है भेजने के लिए कार्गो, उसके पास बहुत सारे ट्रक्स हैं. So what am I doing? How am I solving any problem? I'm saying मेरा भी ट्रक ले लो. That is not a problem to solve at all, right? In the current company, Raising Superstars, the problem that I'm solving is helping millions of parents because they don't have a solution. Oh, 90% of the brain develops before 6 years of age. And आप ही करते हो, तो यार मुझे तो आपके पास ही आना होगा. Help कर दो. That's a big problem. Now, if you see any successful company in India, they've solved big problems, right? You see Flipkart, big problem, right? How to shop digitally. You see even Paytm, right? Digital payment. If you see Ola, any big company that is, even Nykaa, right? पहले beauty में क्या Fair and Lovely, right? Like there's no beauty products, but Nykaa has solved that, or brought all the beauty products for all the women in India and even men. So they've all solved big problems. Now the problem with following your passion in things like music is that all of us listen to music. How many of us wake up in the morning and say, "यार, आज नया artist ढूंढते हैं." Nobody has a problem of कि मेरे को music सुनना है, मुझे मालूम नहीं क्या सुनना है, या मुझे नया कुछ चाहिए. So, if you follow that passion of music, you better have something which is spectacular, which is amazing, which is completely different, जो कि एक नया problem को attack कर रहा है. Otherwise, you're not solving a big problem, and that is where you are probably going to struggle. Which is why there are so many musicians who struggle. They're thinking they're following the passion, but they're not solving a big problem. Rule number 3 is change your playing field to change your game. Change your playing field to change your game. Now, what does this mean? Okay, have you guys heard of this question? Do you want to be the big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond? How many of you have heard of this question? Okay, so how many of you think you should be a big fish in a small pond? And how many of you should think that you should be a small fish in a big pond? Or same size fish in a big pond? Okay. So there is no definitive answer. ये question का मुझे आज तक answer समझ में नहीं आया, to be honest. But the actual answer in this is that you want to be the biggest fish in the biggest pond. Right? And the idea is that in today's world, in today's hyper-connected world, there are no small ponds and big ponds. There's only one pond, right? There's one ocean. And you got to be the biggest fish in that ocean, right? Now, if you want to do well, there is कितने लोगों ने T20 World Cup देखा इस साल? There was a cricketer from USA who did very well. Saurabh something ना, क्या नाम था उसका? नेत्रवलकर. See, आप लोग सबको पता है. Saurabh Netravalkar, right? Now, where did Saurabh Netravalkar learn his cricket? India. That's what I'm trying to say. Saurabh Netravalkar learned his cricket in India with playing with people like Virat Kohli, right? अगर वो अमेरिका में क्रिकेट खेल रहा होता, तो खेल पाता? वो सीखता कुछ नहीं सीखता. What I'm trying to say is that if you want to be the best, you have to play with the best. If you want to be the biggest and the best in whatever you are doing, you need to change your playing field and play in that level, play on that field. आप इंडिया में खेल के आप अमेरिका के टीम में जा सकते हो, पर आप अमेरिका का टीम में जाके इंडिया का टीम में नहीं जा सकते हो, and you will not become the best version of your own potential, right? If you want to become the best version of your potential, play with the best, because the effort तो आप उतना ही लगाओगे. आप चाहे यहाँ पे खेलो वहाँ पे खेलो, आप उतना ही effort लगाओगे 1 घंटा 2 घंटा 4 घंटा. पर आप जब उस environment में उस competition में खेल रहे हो, then your abilities will be enhanced that much more, right? There's one example that I used to always get when I was at Stanford. So there's a famous saying in Stanford. So Stanford is known for its medical school also, right? So they have like one of the best medical schools in the US. And they say that there's a question they always ask. Do you know what you call the person who comes last, literally last in Stanford Medical School?
Genius. It is the biggest potential of doctor.
A doctor. You call him a doctor. It doesn't matter यार तुम लास्ट है ना स्टैनफोर्ड मेडिकल स्कूल में, पर तुम भी डॉक्टर ही कहलाओगे स्टैनफोर्ड मेडिकल स्कूल से. आप डॉक्टर के पास जाते हो, पूछते हो कि आप कहाँ से हैं, किए क्या किए, पर that if you are playing in that field, you're still you might not be the best doctor from Stanford Medical School, but when you come into the outside world, you're still a doctor from Stanford Medical School. Nobody asks you कि तो आप last आए थे क्या, first आए थे क्या, right? What I'm trying to say, if you're going to graduate from NMIMS, you're still going to be from NMIMS, right? It does not matter. It's better to go to a college like this or an IIT or an IIM rather than be a topper in your local college. Very, very important if you want to be world class, right? You play in that country, in that environment, you'll become the best version of yourself. You might not become the best version there. So I'm not talking about an environment where there's competition. I'm just talking about what is good for you, right? So raise your playing field to raise your field. Rule number 4, a lot of you guys would have heard it, but very few people follow it. Whatever you will measure will get done. How many of you have heard this? Okay, very few people. Whatever you will measure will get done, right? There's a very famous book called Measure What Matters. Have you guys heard of that? Measure What Matters. So you have passion, you have chosen to solve a big problem. And by the way, chosen to solve a big problem doesn't matter whether you are doing it, you're doing your own company or you're doing a job or whatever, right? You choose to solve a big problem. See what your company is trying to solve for, what you are doing in that company. And you have upgraded your skills by playing in that high level field, right? But now, how do you succeed? The simplest rule to succeed is measure what you want to get done. If you want to lose weight, for example, the easiest way to lose weight is get up in the morning, measure your weight, write it down. If you really care about losing weight, you will lose weight. Sometimes what happens, yaar, mujhe nahi farak padta, chhod. Then what will happen is you will stop writing down only because you don't care. But if you care, you will lose weight. Why? Because next time you're having a piece of cake, you'll remember कि कल सुबह weight ज़्यादा आने वाला. And that happens for everything. I'll give you a very quick example from my company, where we started in the time of the pandemic, COVID, right? उस समय there were no advertisers on Facebook, and there were no companies doing it much. So Facebook was a gold mine. You put an ad, you will get sales because everybody's at home, everybody's on Facebook, and there are no advertisers. So our customer acquisition cost was very low. We were making so much money at that time, right? And then when COVID went away, our customer acquisition cost went up by 5 times. So literally, you can imagine that I'm making a sale of 100 rupees. Suppose I'm making 60 rupees because my customer acquisition cost was 40. Now it went up by 5 times, so it became 200. So instead of making a profit of 60 rupees, I'm making a loss of 100 rupees month on month, right? So it was a terrible situation. So, and the team would come up with all of these ideas that COVID chala gaya, work from home khatam ho gaya, ye ho gaya, CTR down hai, CPM, whatever, right? And nothing worked. We tried for a long time, nothing worked. The only thing that worked is मैंने एक बंदे को हायर किया, उसको बोला कि दिन में 3 बार एक WhatsApp ग्रुप में at all of the marketing people in that WhatsApp group, दिन में 3 बार customer acquisition cost को post कर दो WhatsApp group में. That's all. Now when it is getting posted 3 times in a day, the marketing guys, because all of them have good intent, marketing guys are saying, अरे यार बढ़ रहा है, चलो कुछ करना चाहिए. And it got reduced, and it came, वो जो 5 times हो गया था, it did obviously go down to COVID level, but it came down again by, I think, so it went out, it only became double basically, right? So and that's it. We didn't do anything else except for posting it on that group. So anyway, the point being, whatever you want to get done, keep a measurement system. It can be as simple as WhatsApp में आजकल you can message yourself. You can message yourself on WhatsApp, right? Message अपने आप को करो. That will also help. So that's my rule number 4. And the last rule, very very important. Success is like pushing a snowball up a mountain. Starting up, especially when you are young, 2 things happen. One is that you think that things are very easy. We have a lot of josh when we come out of college. हम ये करते हैं तो फोड़ देंगे, right? Like मचा देंगे. And क्योंकि लगता है बाहर से बहुत आसान है, इसने किया हम भी करेंगे, हम कर सकते हैं. The second thing that happens is कि as soon as it is not working, we get distracted and go to the next thing. अरे क्रिप्टो नहीं चल रहा है, चल AI करते हैं. AI नहीं चल रहा है, ML करते हैं. ML नहीं करते हैं, चल यार सोशल मीडिया में इन्फ्लुएंसर बनते हैं. We go from one thing to another thing, and every time we get a little bit success. It's not like we are not getting success. We are getting a little bit success, and we feel stuck, and then we move on to the next thing. Why is that happening? If you guys understand this analogy, lot of things will get sorted, right? Success is like pushing a snowball up a mountain. When you are pushing a snowball up a mountain, it will be very very easy because you are starting with a small ball. It feels, अरे क्या easy है यार, मजा भी आना है, easily ऊपर चल जा रहा है. As you keep pushing the snowball up, the snowball will become bigger and bigger because it will collect more snow. It will become bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's more difficult to push. You're not able to push it. And now you start thinking, oh, is it worth it? वहाँ तो आसान लग रहा है. That other mountain is feeling easier. Let me go to that other mountain because I'm not able to push it. And it's just more and more and more difficult. And it takes many years to go up to the mountain, right? Because you have to keep pushing in. And that is the time that you don't give up. That is the time that you keep pushing, you don't give up. Because what happens when you reach the summit, when you reach the top of the mountain? The ball will just roll down the mountain in such speed that you can't even control it, right? And not just that, when it rolls, it again becomes bigger and bigger and bigger because it's again collecting more and more, right? So when your success comes, right? There's a saying in Hindi, कौन बताएगा? भगवान जब देता है, बिल्कुल. When you reach the top and when you push it above that peak, and when success comes, you cannot imagine the kind of success that you will get, right? I don't consider myself to be hugely successful, but literally, as I said, thus far, 10 years, I had nothing to show for what I did, the amount of money and time I wasted in America, nothing. Thus far, kuch nahi. But when it came, first year Shark Tank, second year Megran, third year Time Magazine, number 4 in the world, is unbelievable, right? Last month, one customer came to us and she said that Mark Cuban recommended me to do your program. Mark Cuban, I'm like, क्या बात कर रहे हो? Mark Cuban को मुझे मेरे बारे में पता है. When it comes, it just comes, right? And that is huge for me. It might not be that big, and I think there's still a long way for me to go, but that's how it works. So yeah, that's rule number 5. And the thought that I want to leave you guys with is, why fit in when you are born to stand out? So grab your destiny, follow these rules, follow your passion, and all the best to all of you guys.